नमो अरिहन्ताणं नमो सिद्धाणं नमो आयर्याणं नमो उवज्जायाणं नमो लोए सवसाहुणम। जय जिनेन्द्र स्वामी को। हम कर रहे हैं वीतराग विज्ञान पाठमाला 1 और उसका हम देव स्तुति के एंड में आ गए हैं। पिछले क्लास में हमने ऑलमोस्ट फिनिश कर दी थी किताब। I think we had read, right, the dohas, and now we're going to just explain.
Yeah, now we're actually, you said last class to read about Jammu, so we're on lesson 7. Uske baad mein is Jammu Swami and then Bharat
Oh,
Bhavna.
yes, I wanted you guys to
We,
read it.
we skipped back and forth a little bit, but now we're on that part.
All right. So let's finish this. We'll do the last stanza. So last doha is, आपके गुणों रूपी मणियों को गिनने में गंधर्व देव भी समर्थ नहीं है। So now again, he's praising the भगवान कि भगवान के कितने अनंत गुण होते हैं। तो जो गंधर्व होते हैं, which is the immediate disciples of भगवान, who have a lot of they are of course samyak drishti. They are also because they have been hearing the Bhagwan, so they have a lot of gyan, manaparyaya, and so many other gyans. But still, they also cannot count how many virtues you have. तो फिर मैं, how can I even describe your glory? Basically, that's what he's trying to say. कि और इसलिए मैं आपको मन वचन और काय को संभाल कर, मतलब being conscious, आपको नमस्कार करता हूँ. So it was a very nice but long. But what I like about this stuti, puja, whatever you call, if you do it, even if you do 2 stanzas, but read it with proper thought, I think it means a lot than just to do the kriya for an hour and not like really get the feel for it. So now again, the author who has written this, it is his thoughts. We need to make it our own thoughts. Only then it will benefit us. See, as long as we go pick up a puja and go recite that in the temple, we are just reading somebody else's thought. And it is quite an effort to make it your own. Right? And I'm sure you all understand the difference between, feeling it yourself versus, just reading somebody else's material. So that is what is important. I mean, the whole process that we're doing here is to make this knowledge your own. You should feel it, and you should, what do you say, get that conviction that yes, this is it, of your own, not because somebody's teaching, somebody's, even Bhagwan, cannot or should, which is an interesting thing, is even Bhagwan cannot make you do something. So basically, in that sense, the philosophy teaches you that it's the ultimate freedom. You are your own boss. You're your own slave. So pick what you want to be. You can be slave of your body, of this Pudgal, or you can choose to be free. So, okay. So then, are we good to go? Then should we start? Somebody tell me the story of
Prabhaji, just one quick question. I know that it's you are free to be, but then aren't we bounded by our karmas? Suppose I have...
Yes. So that's what we are learning, right? So when, remember early on when we discussed, I don't know if you saw the Balbo videos. So we discussed this whole process of karmas, how they come, how they get entangled with the soul, and then how it can go. So the only way is when the karma will stop is when your association is with the soul and not the body. Then that oil is not there anymore, right? So now it cannot get stuck to you. And then the rest of it that is already in stock, then there's ways to get rid of that.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the key
Is
thing.
that the same as
What is Samyak Darshan?
right?
Your association with your real self and not the body. What
Right.
is feel in the realization part? I mean, yes, we can talk, and yes, we almost feel that way, which means yes, maybe we're close to Samyak Darshan, but until you actually get that, anubhav or whatever, it's not called Samyak.
So you really have to be truly detached to whatever you're doing. It really has to be detached, right? You're in samsara, so we have to do all of that.
Detached, right? So think about this, okay?
Yeah.
So you're married to somebody.
Right.
Now, any divorces that happen, what happens? They divorce the girl. Then
Right.
are they attached to her family? No.
No. Right.
It doesn't take but a second. You divorce, that whole gang is gone.
Right.
It's the same thing. You
Right.
divorce with your body, everything
Right.
gone.
Right.
So because what is the house, the wife, the kids, if you didn't have the body, none of that would be there. Okay. And again, it's easy and it's difficult because in theory, sometimes it may look easy, but then there's always this because we're so entangled into this attachment. It is, of course, a very difficult thing to let go of because we've done it from infinite times past. So unless you have this amazing force that you can do it in a short time, which people do, otherwise you can expect it to take time because something you couldn't do for infinite times past, it is going to take either a lot of time or a lot of purusharth. Okay, so who all read the Jump story, which was homework for last time?
I didn't read it.
Viraj, this is your class, not Rupal.
I know. I didn't read it, unfortunately. But Dineshji read it. Dineshji is going to tell.
Let me tell you this. Okay, I was at 2 o'clock, talking to somebody who I'm in Ahmedabad, and I woke up at 5:30 for you guys. So you guys are doing the homework. This is not fair to me.
Right.
So nobody read the story? This is not entertainment going on here.
We read it.
Yes, we all read it. Yeah.
Okay, so then whoever read it, tell me the story.
I can say it.
You can say it in Hindi, English, whatever you want.
Yeah. So Jammu, like you just want me to tell the story of Jammu Kumar, right? Jammu Swami?
Yeah, in your own language. Not
Yes,
you don't have to give all the details, but whatever you grasped out of it, yes.
Right. So Jammu Swami is also known as Anubhaddha Kevli. Anubhaddha Kevli means, so first was Mahavir Swami, then Gautam Swami, then Sudama Swami, and then Jammu Swami. So it's like one after the other is called Anubhaddha Kevli. So basically this, I would just say in brief, Jammu Swami was a son of a very rich man in Rajgiri, and his dad was very well known in the king's court, and lot of other well-known Seth log in the city wanted their daughters to be married, and he was basically engaged to 4 girls. And Jammu Swami, from the very childhood, he was sort of like a vairagi. He did not wanted to marry, but he kind of accepted because it was his parents' wish. And then when the 4 girls found out that Jammu Swami wants to take Diksha, they said, no, we are actually want to marry. And if we marry anybody, we would only marry Jammu Swami. So their parents actually came to Jammu Swami's parents and said, please ask Jammu Swami to accept our daughters and get married. And so the marriage happens, and the four girls, they think that, okay, we are so smart, we are so pretty, we just know all the kala, so we will definitely win him over. And the girls' names were Padmashri, Kanakshri, Vinayshri, and Rupashri. So the marriage happens, and when the marriage happens and they're all talking to him and trying to win him over and trying to stop him from taking diksha the next day. But apart from all that, not only Jammu Swami decides to take diksha, but his wife decides to take diksha, his wife's parents decide to take diksha, his own parents decide to take diksha. But at the same time, the same night, when Jammu Swami was trying to talk to his wives and giving them the dharamka knowledge and what the Kevlis had said, he was trying to talk to them. And in the same time, there was this whole big group of thieves that had actually come, because in old days they knew that when you have a wedding in your house, people bring jewelry, people have lot of money and all that. So this whole big group of thieves actually come to Jammu Swami's house, and they are all hiding into his big house. And they were going to, the idea was like, as soon as all these people will go to sleep, we will take all the loot and then get out of that place, right? So while they're waiting, and they hear, because the knowledge Jammu Swami is sharing with his wife is so interesting that it takes the whole night, and they're just discussing about that. And while they're discussing, ये सारे जो शब्द है, ये चोरों के भी कान पे पड़ते हैं, राइट? एंड सो वो लोग भी वो बोलते हैं कि यार, मतलब मैं जिस चीज को चुराने आया हूँ, यही उसको सबको छोड़ के जा रहा है, तो हम क्या करेंगे इसको लेकर? तो फिर वो भी पूरे दीक्षा ले लेते हैं जम्मू स्वामी के साथ में, एंड सभी लोग जाकर दीक्षा लेते हैं. एंड जम्मू स्वामी वाज द लास्ट तीर्थंकर ऑफ दिस आरा. That's what I understand.
Last Kevali.
Last Kevali, right? Last Kevali of the Ara.
So yes, that is pretty much the story. So a couple of important points of the story. So what happens is, when Jambu Swami is trying to talk to these wives, right? So yeah, if you notice in the book, there is this. I don't know, my books are old, so sorry, the pages don't match. Maybe I should get new books this time. Anyway, so they say कि रागियों का राग ज्ञानियों को क्या प्रभावित करेगा.
Yeah, nice sentence.
और ज्ञान और वैराग्य की किरणें तो अज्ञान और राग को नाश करने में समर्थ होती है. So, I can now experience this, and I'll tell you how. So I'm at my Foy's place, Foy in Gujarati, Bua in Hindi, whatever the case may be, okay, in Ahmedabad. So my Foy, when we were little, she was not very rich, okay, relatively speaking. My dad had lot more money and all that. So obviously, in general, that is the case. When you don't have much money, you long for more money and all, okay. So now today, her family is extremely wealthy, right? A lot of money. So whenever we come to their house, all the talk is about how much more wealth they've accumulated. So yesterday they took us to this huge bungalow, farmhouse, or whatever new they've built, and how many factories they have, and how many mines they have, or whatever the case may be, right? So Ragi, what kind of talk they're going to have? That kind, right?
Kasha.
They've grown their wealth, and you visit them, and that's all they know to talk about. And so now I feel like that. I can't get myself to be impressed with all that anymore, right? To me, it's like so big deal, right? Tomorrow one of you closes the eyes and boom, in a second, it's all gone. So what have you accomplished just by gaining some more crores, or whatever the case may be? But it takes a while to get to that level when it really, that wealth, or it makes you feel like it really is that Pudkal dust. It doesn't really hold a whole lot of value. And you start looking at it in so many different perspectives. And so basically कि जो ज्ञानी है, जो जम्बू स्वामी जिनको अपनी आत्मा की इम्पोर्टेंस समझ गई है, उनको फिर वो ब्यूटी, वो वेल्थ, वो इंटेलिजेंस ऑफ द वाइव्स और whatever else they were good at couldn't impress him. And the reverse happened. He could impress them of the vairagya that he had and why he had. Of course, the whole night that's what they talked about. So the girls got changed, and they also realized the non-importance of this materialistic life and decided along with him. And then, of course, the thief also heard and realized that he's running after the wrong stuff. So yes, so that's what I mean, they talk about what you would feel in the future sticking around with this guy, how and life in general becomes a lot more peaceful. Your priorities change, your akulta, stress, whatever the case may be, naturally start reducing. Not that you're forcing yourself to reduce it. So the last page of that book, I mean of the chapter, I may say. So उन्होंने अपनी दृष्टि को, so what did Jambu Swami or the wives do? दृष्टि को विषय कषाय से हटाकर वैराग्य की तरफ मोड़ा और वे भी दीक्षा लेकर आरिकाएं बन गई, राइट? सो तो एक किसी के होने से सारा वातावरण वैराग्यमय हो गया. नाउ there is a difference between vairagyamay hona versus vairagyamay with the correct understanding hona. And that is what Kanji Swami discovered and then propagated. Okay. So currently, the way the Jain Samaj is, there's of course a lot of sadhus in a lot of different paramparas. All the paramparas we have, Shwetambar, Digambar, and within those two further, whatever. And in fact, yesterday I also visited my older Foi's daughter-in-law and her daughter, her granddaughter. Both have taken Diksha in the Stamakvasi Parampara. So my mom here with me, she wanted to go visit them. So what I observed was, we went to visit, first because they are related to us. So they would talk very briefly about the family, whatever issues. And then they tried to tell my mom that that now that you've come of the age, give up, like take badha of no more material accumulation, no more buying stuff and those kind of things. Which is true. I mean, that's the way the sadhus should give that kind of knowledge or that kind of prabhavna to visitors. But what is missing is that now my mom has no knowledge of this soul, very minimal, whatever she hears from me. How can you expect that person to suddenly feel like giving up the material, not buying saris anymore, not buying clothes anymore? So it's like an unnatural thing. So first you have to have the knowledge, you have to understand what, why, and naturally be able to reduce your desires. And what happens in Samaj, and again, I'm not blaming or I'm not criticizing the sadhus because they have their own limitations. The way the system is, they're floating around everywhere. When people come to them, they're coming for a limited time. They don't have a course to teach the people who come to visit them. So what can they do in that limited time they get with people, right? So they can only say, okay, take vows, do this, kriya. That's all the time they have to, impart any knowledge. But that's kind of what I realized, that that yes, they're telling the right stuff to people, to like what to do, give up the attachment or take vows. But unfortunately, it doesn't help because people are too attached to materialistic, so they cannot do it. Or even if they do, because of social pressures, a lot of them cannot follow it. Or even if they follow it, they're like torturing themselves. I mean, अंदर से तो बहुत मन है खाने का, और उन्होंने बोला तुम आलू प्याज छोड़ दो. Now what do? You've taken a vow in front of a sadhu, so you're stuck giving it up for the rest of your life or however long you've taken the vow for. And inside you really don't, you still have the desire. So the पाप तो desire का लग रहा है और ऊपर से खा भी नहीं रहे हो. Double whammy. So that is why it's very important to understand and realize stuff and then naturally let it happen. So, so then the last paragraph says, जिस प्रकार महावीर का निर्वाण दिवस और गौतम का केवल ज्ञान दिवस एक है, उसी प्रकार सुधर्माचार्य का निर्वाण दिवस और जम्बू स्वामी का केवल ज्ञान दिवस एक ही हुआ. It just so happens. There's no rhyme or reasons for it. So this one person got nirvana and the next one got keval gyan. And there's a possibility that part of it is because the little mild attachment that was still remaining, which he went away when the guru left. So, so speaking of that, when I went to Ayodhya, I went to again, now this is homework, and next time you guys do the homework, okay? How many? So we have 24 Tirthankars, right? This Ayodhya is very known and this big thing in the news and whatever for Ram Janmabhoomi, right? They made this big temple and the world knows about it. But it's Janmabhoomi for 4 of our Tirthankars. And traditionally, all Tirthankars are born in Ayodhya. But it's a special Hunda of Sarpani Kal, that in this Kal, only 4 Tirthankars were born in Ayodhya. 4 were born around Banaras and then other different places. So we visited, before we went to this Ram Mandir, we actually visited the Adinath Mandir. It's a very beautiful, very big, huge campus now. Where they had the Adinath Bhagwan ka mandir, and there they had all these signs of which Bhagwan ka kaun sa kalyanak kaun se shehar mein hua hai. So I want you guys to research that. You can Google, probably it's available on Google or whatever books you have. So so yeah, 5 Bhagwan ka Kalyanak wahan Ayodhya mein hua hai. So birth, basically, Janma Kalyanak. So we visited those temples and got to know all this, learn all this. And I'm not kind of very good with memory anymore. And I've decided I'm not going to worry about memory of these things. I rather know my soul, be that in my memory than anything else. So because the other stuff we can always look up. So so it's interesting that when I went there, that for me, that was more important to do, to visit the Jain temples where the 5 Bhagwans had their Janma Kalyana. And I'll tell you why. Think about it. Okay, for us, of course, even Ram is important. Not that he's not, because Ram, also the soul of Ram went to moksha. So in that sense, yes, Ram is worshipable for Jains also. But we don't worship the Hindu form of Ram, which is what? Who is going to tell me? What does Ram look like?
Maryada Purushottam.
Not in noisy areas, just keep yourself unmuted so you can reply quickly, please.
Bow and arrows, I guess.
Right? That's normally the murti in any Hindu temple you will see with the bow and an arrow. What does that represent, do you think?
Worldly life.
Who needs a bow and arrow?
Warrior.
Warriors.
Priya?
Oh, who needs protection? They're scared. Why would you need to defend yourself if you're not scared? Why do you think people keep guns in America? They're scared. So they want to keep a gun, so when somebody comes to kill them, they can shoot them back or whatever their rhyme or reason is. And our Papa is not scared because they don't associate themselves with this body. So what can somebody do if they kill you? So what's the big deal? The soul is going to take another form. That's all that happens. And I don't know if I told you this story. Somebody that we listened to from Gwalior, she said this is a true story. Did I tell you guys about that story? No? Okay. So there was this kid, 8, 9 years old, and he was going to Pathshala and all that. And he was and he was taken in the normal thing you see in the movies. They tell you when we need so many lakhs or crores, then we leave your kid and all that, ransom they were asking. And they are hearing their child from the back that no, 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 don't pay them any money. and the and he's so, when children are little, they get convinced easily, right? So this kid was convinced that I'm the soul, I'm not this body. So he, with the kidnappers, he's not at all scared. And he tells them, so what? Okay, kill me. I don't die anyway. So why do I care? And he's like so fearless child that then this is something really happened, that these kidnappers had to let him go. They're like, we're not gonna get anything out of this kid. So so it's that fearlessness state that you can also experience, which now I've told stories about this in the other classes, where I have actually experienced coming close to that death and have not been scared. My car skidded and went into a valley or whatever the case may be, one of those movie type of scenes where your car is going down the hill and you're almost about to die, and I wasn't scared. So I've kind of like tested myself a few times. But anyway, so now where are we? We did not do Bara Bhavna, right? That's the only chapter left now. So let's read that. Does everybody have books now, or do we still need to share? Books here, yeah, at least you have the PDF open, right?
Yeah.
So let's start. Let's hope we can finish that. Okay. Yeah, in the other class, I gave this homework to everybody, but you guys are not about this. I told everybody to research the stories on each of the bhavnas. There are some very interesting stories out there, which just help you understand the bhavna. Anyway, so let's start reading. So you want to start, Amit, with the first page of the Bara Bhavna, chapter 8. You're muted.
Pandit Jaichand Ji Chabda holds a significant position amongst the talented and spiritual scholars of the Jaipur Jain community of that time. He was born in Fagai village, situated on the Dighi Malpura road, about 30 miles from Jaipur. His father was Motiram Ji Chabda. His interest in Tattva Gyan began at the tender age of 11 years. After some time, he left Fagai for Jaipur, where he got the virtuous company of the great Pandit Tondarmalji and other intellectuals. He gained spiritual knowledge from religious study groups of Tera Panth, a Digambar sect called Saili in Jaipur. He has described it thus: Saili Tera Panth Supantha, Tamema Bade Guna Grantha, Tinaki Santi Mem Kachu Bodha, Payo Mem Adhyatma Sodha. His son Pandit Nandalal.
Wait a second. I know last time I realized that some of this diacritics is not working well. So let me read and see. I'm kind of trying to teach you guys how to read diacritics also. So if it is the word you read, tame, Does it have a line on top, the A?
A has a line, yes.
Okay, which means you're supposed to pronounce it as tame.
Tame. Okay. So line means
So
we
means
have to
the A sound
elongate
has
the
to be the
A.
A sound.
And the I sound, if there is a line on top of I.
E, badi E. So there's
Oh,
in Hindi
Saili.
and badi.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Saili, Tera, Pantha,
Uh-huh.
Supantha. So there is a dot on top of N,
Which is
right?
fine. You read it fine. Supantha, right?
Okay, Supantha, Tame Bade,
Tamem
Guna,
nahi,
Guni,
tame,
Guna.
right? So the dot, depending on what is next to it, if it is at the end, then it is tame, whereas in supantha, because there's a th after that, it became the half na.
Oh,
So
Supantha,
supantha, tame,
Tame
bade,
Bade,
guni.
Guni, Guna, Grantha.
Yes, good. Okay.
Yeah, Grantha.
Uh-huh.
Tinakis,
No. So why do you
Santi.
read tina? Is there a line on the top of the na?
Oh, Tinaki, sorry.
Right.
Yeah. Tinaki, Sangti,
Sangati, very good.
Mem,
Me.
Kachu,
No, not me, ma. Remember I said when that dot is at the end,
Me.
me.
Yeah, Me.
Okay.
मैं कछु बोध पायो मैं अध्यात्म
So
सोदा.
very good. So dha nahi. Again, watch that line on the top.
Yeah, there's no line. Okay, so sod. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
And the
No, it
reason
will
I'm
take time for brain to remember, right? What is what. But this is a good start. Now at least I understood, right?
now
What does
you will
that
be able to
line
read Hindi
dot
very
mean?
fluently with this, right? And correctly. That's the whole purpose of
Right.
Yeah, once you get it once, then you get it forever. So
and then you get it forever.
Yep.
Exactly. And so and I know Dipali had a little issue with English and Hindi and all this, so which is fine. We can switch back and forth. But Dipali, I'm purposely doing this because I'm leading this effort of translating these books in English so that our future generations can have it. I mean, not all our kids are going to be fluent in Hindi, which we already know. So, so in effort to do that, this is like a test lab for me because if I don't see how it's working, I wouldn't know how to improve it or what changes to make. So, I mean, I have to kind of personally experience it in order to make improvements in those translations. So you're right. I mean, you were expecting a little more Hindi, which we will still do, but at the same time to time, I'm going to have this English reading. He just chose to read in English, and that's fine. And if you chose to read in Hindi, that's okay too.
Yeah, my one of the main reasons is to learn in Hindi is because there are a lot of books that are not translated in English, and
You're
so as we
right.
go,
And ask
yeah,
Rupal, Viraj's wife. Her Hindi has improved a lot being in my
right,
class.
yeah,
Reading.
and I have exactly, I have not been. I'm going to say I've been in this part of the world, so we're kind of, we don't do as much Hindi. So I thought this is a good
And yes,
opportunity for
both are
me.
very important to me. It is important that you guys learn Hindi, make your Hindi better so you can be independently be able to read other books, definitely so. But yet it is also important to have materials ready for our future generations. So
Yeah.
both are good purpose in that sense. So so I guess let's try to do both. But yes, I do want you guys to also read Hindi, so that improves also in this class.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll try to switch back and forth. Some chapters we'll read in Hindi, some in English. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. His son Pandita Nandalal ji.
That mistake of reading the line. It should be only Pandit. And if it is A, let me know. That's the reason I'm making you read it.
Yeah, Pandit Nandalal ji
Mhm,
was also a great scholar.
mhm.
Pandit Jaichand ji. Now, how does this become Jaichand? See, where is the H?
This is, we all had such a hard time with this. because we are following some system of diacritics where C is ch, and we are all used to seeing CH as ch. So it's like that mindset changing now, because it's in diacritic standard. If you write k and ch, how would you distinguish? So k is k and C is ch.
Okay.
So, and then CH is
Yes.
ch. That's the only way you could figure out, like, all the Hindi alphabets in English properly. So by alphabets, that's why I had a hard time with that too, when this diacritic thing started spitting C for ch, and we are not used to it,
Right. Pandit Jaichand Ji
Uh-huh.
himself has praised him in his writings. Composition of Pandit Jaichand Ji are mostly commentaries called Vachanika. However, he does have some original works.
Vachanika.
Yeah, see, everybody's catching up with this.
Oh, Vachanika. Yeah, Vachanika. Right. However, he does have some original works too. Some of his important works are as follows.
Mhm.
Tatvarth Sutra Vachanika,
Mhm.
Sarvarth Siddhi Vachanika, Pramayaratnam Mala,
Mala.
sorry, Prameyaratnam Mala
Mhm.
Vachanika,
Right.
Dravya Sangraha Vachanika, Samaisar Vachanika, Ashto Pahuda Vachanika, Gnanarnava Vachanika.
Yeah, I know Vachanika, pretty good. Yes, these are very difficult words if you think about it, but if you're able to.
Gnanarnava Vachanika. Dhanya Kumara Charitra
No, should be there.
Vachanika.
Danya Kumar. Is there an A has a line on top?
Yeah.
Danya Kumar, A has a line.
No, not the last
A
A.
has a
Not
line.
the
So
last A.
Dhanya
The last
Kumara.
line.
The last A should not have a line.
No, it
No,
does
it does
not.
not have a line.
So that means you're supposed to read it as the Danya Kumar, not A, not Kumara.
Why A line means we have to stretch it, right? It is the Dirgha kind of A.
No.
Bada A.
A means A. A doesn't mean A. So
No,
A,
A has a line.
no. It does it. If it does, then that's wrong. That's why I'm asking you. Does
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not the last word, last A.
the last A should not have the line on the top?
And the third lash has a line on the top. So is that correct?
Yeah, Ma has a line because Ma, it is Ma, not Ma.
No, morning. A has. Let me show.
A, right? Because M A and a line. Danya Kumar ka jo M A hai, that should have line.
So this one.
Yes. So see, Dhanya Kumar, Kumar, because there's a line.
Kumar.
And a Ra, even though the reason there's an A at the end is that you're supposed to pronounce it Ra, not R, half. So if there's no N, no A at the end, it becomes half Ra.
Dhanya
Yeah.
Kumara.
The full
No,
Ra, not Ra. So this yoga
Kumara.
is all wrong pronunciations. They're supposed to be Yog and Ram.
Okay. So Dhanya Kumar Charitra Vachanika.
Wonderful. Yes. That's how it is. Okay.
Kartikeya Anupreksha.
it's
Vachanika.
Kartikeya Anupreksha. There's only one Bada A.
This, see,
Kartikeya Anupreksha. Okay. Kartikeya Anupreksha. Right, Vachanika. And then Padasangraha.
no pada nahi hona chahiye, is it? Yeah, you're right. Pada hai, which is, I don't know if that is accurate. I'd requested
What is the Hindi word to
Pada
this?
Sangraha likha hua hai, Hindi wali
Pada
jagah.
Sangraha.
Yeah. So then in that case, that is wrong.
Yeah, in the Hindi, it's just Pada Sangraha.
Right. So I've been telling in my other class to send me these, and there's in these books, there's an email. Can somebody email to that
Yeah,
email?
yeah, I'm listing it down. I'll email it. This
You're making it.
page.english translation.
Right. So email
So,
the page
so
number
the
and the mistake, which is the A, should not have a line on the top.
year, right? Pada
Right.
Sangraha. Okay. Yeah, let me.
तो एनीवे हम क्या यहाँ पढ़ रहे हैं कि ये जो 12 भावना लिखी है, 12 भावना बहुत सारे लेखक, बहुत सारे पंडितों, ये जो 12 भावना हम पढ़ेंगे वो जयचंद जी छाबड़ा ने लिखी है, जो कि एक अच्छे पंडित थे. अगेन यू विल नोटिस कि पंडित का मतलब है लाइक अ स्पेशलिस्ट इन दैट फील्ड बेसिकली. तो वो जो पंडित जी थे, वो 11 वर्ष की अल्पायु में ही उनकी रुचि तत्व ज्ञान की तरफ हो गई. नाउ थिंक अबाउट इट कि at 11 years of age, how do you start getting interested in this kind of knowledge? Just take a guess.
पिछले जन्म का फल.
So like out of all these other people, you 6 or 7 got interested or felt like doing this class or felt like, oh, I would like to know more about this. So either you could have gotten some scars or enough curiosity in this life, and it could be first time. Some of it could have come from your previous life, that yes, there's that spark somewhere you had heard it, and now it is little more, starting to blow up. Sometimes it can be first time where you got the right nimit, who either your partner or your friend or somebody, influenced you, and you started listening and you started developing the interest. And then when you make it your own, that wow factor, then it goes with you to the next life. And hopefully you've done enough good karmas where you get that opportunity again. So they're talking about that this kid at 11 years of age had an interest in this Tattva Gyan. And then afterwards, he went to this other place, Fagai in Jaipur, and then he met Pandit Todarmalji, and then, of course, developed more, and then he started writing his own books. So again, book writing is not good enough to say that he's very knowledgeable or a big Pandit. Book writing is just a skill someone may or may not have. Like Kanji Swami never wrote any books, but he had the correct understanding and experience of the soul. He spoke from experience, and that is why it was very effective. Versus Bharilji had this talent of being able to pen it down into prose and poems and pujas and all kinds of works. Okay, so then these are the list of the other works of the same, right? So, okay, अब हम 12 भावना को पढ़ते हैं. And again, this is not the first, last time we're going to study about 12 bhavna. It's going to keep coming, again and again in the course. So it's a very important topic. Different authors have written it. I've heard like there's at least 100 different 12 bhavnas written. And the most popular one is a different one. This is a different one, but we'll read about this one, okay? So the way this is, I think you read the left side and the right side is the explanation. So let's just rotate. There's what, 6 people today? Yeah. So we'll just read one by one and read the explanation and then rotate again there. Okay. We have not done this, right, in any of the past books so far? Okay. Okay, so let's start. Dipali, you start with the Nitya Bhavna.
Prabhaji, the right and left column that you talk about it's not written that way in the English translation. It's just one below the other.
I know. What did they do? Did they do Anitya?
So they do Anitya and then they explain it underneath. So
Right.
That's all. Yeah. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
12 भावना अनित्य द्रव्य रूप करी सर्व थिर परजय थिर है कौन द्रव्य दृष्टि आपा लखो परजय नय करी गौन वैराग्यो तत्काल में 12 भावनाओं का चिंतवन
Wait, Dipali,
Wait,
read that.
wait, wait.
Vairagyot, there's half the in there. So Vairagyot Patti, the ta ke upar thodi si line, right? So that is pronounced as double T. So Vairagyot Patti Kal.
वैराग्योपति काल में 12 भावनाओं
And the word, I don't know if you've studied Sanskrit at all. You you can divide that word into multiple words. Vairagya plus Utpatti plus Kal.
यस
Got it? Okay.
में 12 भावनाओं का चिंतवन करने वाले ज्ञानी आत्मा इस प्रकार विचार करते हैं अनित्य द्रव्य की दृष्टि से देखा जाए तो सर्व जगत स्थिर है पर पर्याय दृष्टि से कोई भी स्थिर नहीं है अतः पर्याय आर्थिक नए को गौण करके द्रव्य दृष्टि से एक आत्मानुभूति ही करने योग्य कार्य है
तो ये जो है this is a little less common 12 भावना that is read in general. तो क्या बताया कि द्रव्य रूप सर्वस्थिर है, right? So द्रव्य से everything is constant. Okay, it doesn't keep changing. But paryay keeps. So your core gun of your atma will never change. Those gun will always exist. But their modes are constantly changing. So what they're saying is, because that is the fact of life, the modes will always change, the dravya will remain same. Put your focus on where? Where should you focus on?
Dravya.
Yes, non-changing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That doesn't mean you forget the changing thing. That still exists. That is also a fact. But your focus should be, primary focus should be on the dravya, which is the constant. And I gave a couple of examples for that. What comes to mind is, if you focus, let's say you're giving directions to somebody, somebody's leaving your house and you're telling them go there and make a left or whatever. Okay. You tell them, oh, you make a left where that car is going. How long will that last? The car moves, and then that guy has lost the spot where he was supposed to make that left turn.
So that's the paryayarthik naya.
Versus if you say you make a left at that house or that light pole or something that is fixed, those are better.
Dravya naya.
So,
and naya means perspective. Naya is a perspective. Okay.
Yes.
Leave it.
That dravya drashti se, now we are only talking at drashti because the two things do exist. So what happens is, in different philosophies, they only focus on one thing, which is what makes it partial knowledge, right? Buddhism more emphasizes on only the paryaya drashti. They, like if you go to Vipassana and all, they tell you everything is just temporary, everything is just temporary, it's just like a bubble and goes away. And so their main focus is only on the temporariness of life or of everything. There's a Sankhya Mat in Hinduism, which only focuses on the Dravya Drashti, which means there's only this one permanent truth and nothing else. Everything else is like a dream. That's what they talk about. Jainism says, no, both are true. They both have different characteristics. And there's a reason when you focus on Dravya Drashti. And there is also a reason you do need to accept the fact that there is a paryaya which is temporary. You don't forget it. But it's how much emphasis you put on it. Because paryaya is there and it does exist.
Paryaya is, we know, modification, but what is arthika? Paryay Arthika, the combination of that word.
Paryayarthik means paryay ke arth se, with the meaning or focus of the paryay.
So from the viewpoint of Paryay, so from the viewpoint of modification.
Correct.
So इसलिए उसको गौण करके, now that is to be very well understood, just to reduce the focus, not forget it. So there's a difference between reducing the focus and forgetting that it exists.
Gone means reduce.
Gone means what's a good translation of gone? I guess now that you guys have the English book,
छोड़ दो.
might as well consult that rather than me.
It's, I think, roughly to minimize.
Minimize, right? Okay.
I
Minimum.
think.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of, let's say you're driving. Where is your focus?
Mhm.
On the road.
On-
But
on
On the road.
मतलब
around don't exist. You
like
just don't
gone,
focus.
yeah, gone could be like, you know, है तो है. मतलब, you know, there are cars beside
I'm
you. तो
Think about
ठीक
the
है. पर
actual English word to use for the gone word. Is there one?
Like minimize or
No, no,
ignore?
in the English,
No, read the English
the English
paragraph.
book
Yeah,
does-
how did they explain it?
Where is it?
yeah, I can. When seen from the perspective of Dravya, constant as aspect of the substance, the entire universe is Nitya, that is stable. But when seen from the perspective of Paryay, that is modification, there is nothing that is stable. So the only karya task worth doing is the direct experience of Atma, self, by turning our focus from Paryayartika, Naya perspective to Dravya perspective. It's just saying you turn your focus,
Did the
right?
word
So that
gone in that English
It's,
translation?
it's not in there, yeah.
it's not
It's
there.
not
What-
gone.
what
It's
I
almost like
understand,
it's secondary, right? It's like
Yeah,
secondary.
let's say that seems
Yeah.
like a decent word to use. Yeah, secondary. Right.
so what,
Prabhaji,
Yeah.
what I understand from
I had
gone,
actually looked up these bhavnas separately before the class. So thing which I came up with is everything in the world is temporary. So anitya means impermanence. So
Right.
it says everything in the world is temporary, including our body, relationships, and possessions. And
This-
therefore, what we need to reflect on is nothing lasts forever. Therefore, I must not get attached. So that is the bhavna, I think, here, right?
Bhav is to not be attached to the temporary stuff.
Right.
Okay. Only focus on the permanent.
so sorry, so
Always be with you forever and for the permanent future. Yeah, go ahead. Deepa.
So gone word, what I understood is I had heard this before. Gone means in Hindi is like hai to hai. So for example, like I would explain with an example, like Arjun को जब उनके टीचर ने बोला कि ये बर्ड है और उसकी आंख को में आपको मारना है, तो अर्जुन को कुछ नहीं दिखता है, मतलब झाड़ नहीं दिखता है, गुरुजी नहीं दिखते हैं, पत्ते नहीं दिखते हैं, सिर्फ बर्ड भी नहीं दिखता है, सिर्फ आग दिखती है. तो टीचर बोलते हैं कि भाई तुम्हें मैं भी नहीं दिख रहा हूँ, तो बोले है तो है, मतलब इट्स ओके, ये सब चीजें है. जैसे रोड पर भी गाड़ी है आजू बाजू में.
We are looking for a word. I mean, everything
Right.
I think understood the bhav of it, but we are looking for that to explain gone in English. Well,
Yeah.
only Google it and see what Google comes up with the word
It
for.
probably it would, I would say,
Probably
let it be.
minimize,
Let it no, let
minimize.
it be. Leave those things
I
to
think
be
second-
there.
No,
if they
gone
are.
means
For
not
example, you
important.
have two children. Right now, at the current moment, you're focusing on teaching one kid physics, let's say. Does that mean the other kid doesn't exist? Yes, it does. But right now, your focus is not on the other kid. It's
Right.
on
So maybe de-emphasize or minimize or something like that.
Let it be. Right?
yeah.
I mean, it's basically something which is not important.
Yeah,
Gone
yeah.
ho gayi. That's
Yeah,
how we
less
use it.
important, de-emphasize. It's okay. I would hope there's some English word for it, but okay, that's fine. Okay, so next,
Yeah.
let's
कुछ और है, right?
Dinesh, you do the second one, please. The Asharan Bhavna.
Yeah, Asharan. शुद्धात्मा अरु पंच गुरु जग में शरणोदय मोह उदय जीव के वृथा
Jiya ke
आन sorry
जी.
Jiya
हाँ,
ke
जीव
pratha.
जीव के
Pratha,
वृथा जीव के वृथा आन कल्पना होए.
Yes.
Asharan, lack of refuge. There are only two places of sharan, refuge, in this world. From the viewpoint of Nishchay, actual perspective, it is one's own Shuddhatma, pure self. And from Vyavahar Naya, conventional perspective, it is the Pancha Parameshti. However, due to moha, delusions, Jiva imagines refuge in other substances.
Good. So, अब क्या है? इस विश्व में दो ही शरण है. Right? Sharan means you look towards them as your idol. Right? Sharan kind of is not to be taken as कि तुम उनके पास जाओगे और वो तुम्हारा कुछ भला कर देंगे, हाथ फेर देंगे, तथास्तु. That's not the kind of sharan we are talking about. So they're saying कि निश्चय से तो निज शुद्धात्मा ही शरण है. So at the end of the day, you have to come to your own self. Your own Atma is the one you have to focus on. Not anybody else's. Even Bhagwan's Atma cannot do you any good. So, but Vyavhar say, until you get to that point where you can be immersed in yourself, yes, look upon those who have accomplished the same. Because, if you want to be rich, who do you follow? Some rich guy, right? Whatever they did, let me do the same. You want to be a cricketer, who you're going to follow? Whoever is a popular cricketer. So same way, whoever has gone through the process, you want to follow them. So Vyavhar say Pancha Parameshti, which is Siddh, Arihant, and the three sadhus, Acharya, Upadhyaya, and Sadhu. But then they say, because of our attachments, we are looking to where? Elsewhere. We're looking at other people. So let us talk about some examples of what all different sharans we go to. Currently, who all do we depend on?
Family is a big one, right? Our own parents, our brothers, sisters, our children, all family is a very big thing, especially for Indian people.
Think about it. As people age, what are they scared of? Are our children
being sick and alone?
Is my child going to be taking care of me? So, child is their sharan. The child, when it's born, it's little. Who is child's sharan? Parent. Right? Then now you are ill. किसकी शरण में तुम जाते हो? Doctor की. Right? You need money. Banker. Loan चाहिए, banker की शरण में जाओ. So what have we developed over time? To take refuge of all these people, materialistic inclined people, right? Now, that doesn't mean that you don't trust your doctor, you don't go to doctor when you get ill. The point they're trying to make is key that is go, but know that that is temporary. They cannot possibly make you well or do good to you. They can only be a nimit. So your true Sharan is your soul and the Panch Parameshti who have reached that goal of being within themselves. So now next time you go to a doctor, your perspective is going to change a little bit. Not that you will stop going to the doctor. Of course, we are not reached where you cannot feel the pain or you don't have attachment to body, right? So you still have attachment to the body. You get ill. Yes, you're going to go to the doctor and, figure out a cure and, whatever else. But yet your mentality will change in the way that, yes, I'm here to get this thing fixed. But if it doesn't, the doctor is to be not to be blamed. There's always mistakes that happen, right? Doctors may do something. At the end of the day, it's a job. Every person can make a little mistake at their job, but it's unfortunate that if a doctor makes a mistake, it causes either somebody's some organ or health or whatever the case may be. But then you realize that no, it's not just the doctor, it's part of it is my own satavedniya karma that did not come into fruition, and that made this disease last longer or whatever the case may be. So that that inward understanding is getting developed. Okay. So that this doctor was not to be my ultimate Sharan anyways. So what am I feeling bad about? All right, next. Dinesh Burarji, आप पढ़िए एकत्व संसार भावना, sorry.
संसार परद्रव्य तैम प्रीति जो है संसार अबोध ताको फल गति चरमैम
चार में
ब्राह्म
विश्व को
चार में ब्राह्म ब्राह्मणा कयो श्रुत शोध
So again,
श्रुत शोध
and bra should not have the line that a marna. They none of them should have the line. Or is it brahmana?
No,
It is na. So at the end, the
ब्राह्मण
line should have the line on it, right?
no, it is not there. No, the end does not
no
have a
it's
line.
not there.
Okay,
No,
so
it
Brahman,
has a dot.
okay. Kayo Shruta Shrot. Okay, go ahead. Read first.
Sansar, worldly existence, transmigration. From the viewpoint of Nishchaya, actual perspective, Moha, Rag, Dvesh, Bhav towards non self substances is in itself sansar, worldly existence or transmigration. Due to this, Jiva suffers in all four gatis, states of existence, and continues his cycle of rebirth.
Okay, so you read that Jiva. Again, we are making that mistake. Remember, I said at the end, if there's an A,
Jiva.
yes.
Jiva suffers in all gatis, state of existence, and continues his cycle of rebirth.
Mhm. So, see, we need to fix this because the world, unfortunately, because of this A at the end, has adopted this A sound, for yoga and Rama and Krishna and all those things. So we need to fix, that back, that it's to be called Yoga, Rama, Krishna, and same thing. Okay. So, संसार भावना वो क्या बता रहा है कि the world is nothing but this attachment towards the right. That is what is keeping you in this world. And if you did not have this attachment, you get rid of your karmas and be within your soul for happily ever after. So sansar bhavna, again, this bhavna, by the way, I didn't talk about this. Para bhavna is like these 12 contemplations. The contemplations are important for both Shravak as well as Sadhu. Even the sadhus every day are to contemplate on these bhavnas. And it's something very important that you can do day to day. I mean, talk about, how easy this swadhyaya is, how easy this philosophy material is, right? You don't need to always take time out to sit and read and, so this 12 bhavnas, right? Starting tomorrow, you could be contemplating on this while driving. You could be contemplating on this while somebody falls sick and think about it, right? Okay, this is anitya. This is, even though I'm going to the doctor's refuge, but this is not my permanent refuge, right? So these are things you're supposed to be like constantly keep it in the back of your mind. I am in this world, materialistic world, because of my own attachment towards non-self. And I don't have to be. Okay. So now ekatva bhavna. Arunji, aap padhiye.
Sorry, I was muted. So I have the Hindi version. I'll read from that.
Fine, you can read it in Hindi, yeah.
I'm going to try and sing it if I can bring it. So, परमार्थ ते आत्मा एक रूप ही जोए कर्म निमित्त विकल्प घने दिन नासे शिव होए. I'm going to read from the Hindi one.
Fine, yeah.
एकत्व, निश्चय से तो आत्मा एक ज्ञान स्वभावी ही है। कर्म के निमित्त की अपेक्षा कथन करने से अनेक विकल्प में भी उसे कहा है। इन विकल्पों के नाश से ही मुक्ति प्राप्त होती है।
तो क्या बताया यहाँ पे कि निश्चय से, अगेन निश्चय, अब अगेन दे वोंट हैव टू एक्सप्लेन निश्चय टू यू अगेन, व्हाई? बिकॉज इंग्लिश वाला जो वर्जन जो लोग पढ़ रहे हो, एक बार आपको एक्सप्लेन कर दिया व्हाट इज द निश्चय, राइट? द रियल व्यू पॉइंट और हाउएवर दे एक्सप्लेन्ड इट। देन आत्मा एक ज्ञान स्वभावी ही है, but only Atma is Gyan Swabhavi. Nothing else is. That's what they're trying to say. कर्म के निमित्त से की अपेक्षा कथन करने से अनेक विकल्पमय भी उसे कहा जाता है। So what they're saying is कि the original गुण जो आत्मा के हैं वो तो है knower, knower and knower. Because of karmas, it has vikar, which is opposite of its swabhav, that उससे when you talk about it, then it has so many different ways of talking, right? और इन विकल्पों के नाश से ही मुक्ति प्राप्त। That means when the soul realizes and focuses that I am the only one, everything else is par. Me is only me. Even though my spouse's soul is also soul, yet it is different than me. That is what the Ekatva Bhavna teaches. And I want my association with only me. वो जो सारी romantic बातें होती है ना, एक क्या, दो जान, एक
दो जिस्म एक जान।
whatever, anyway, I'm beyond all those things now. But so, and then हम 7 जन्मों तक साथ रहेंगे, and you know, all that just blows away when you read all this stuff. So, so it's like, no, sorry, you know, I'm me, you are you. There is no hum and all those things. No, nobody's going together anywhere. So, 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 so all those mithya manyata that your lover or your whatever is going to go with you, and no, none of that happens. Okay, so I am.
Auntie, this word vikalpamai, can you explain that a little bit more? Vikalpamai?
The word vikalp actually means choice. So I don't know how they explained it in English. So yeah, I think this will be fun. So we try to read the same. I mean, I told you the meaning of the word vikalpamaya means with choices, but then we can also read from the English translation and see what they've explained it, the overall, the paragraph.
Yeah, so English translation, they say, from the viewpoint of Nishchaya, Atma is inherently one and only Gnana Swabhavi, has the nature of pure knowing. But when described from the viewpoint of Nimitta, of Karma, it is also said to be manifold Vikalpamay, manifold existence with multiple thoughts and psychic activities. That's how they've described Vikalpamay.
That's correct. Yeah, that's fine.
Liberation is only attained by the eradication of this vikalpa, thoughts and impure psychic activities.
Okay. Yeah, I would say it's a pretty good translation of it in English. Yes. So,
Prabhaji, are you okay if I share my notes on the screen about this Bara Bhavana?
No, you have actually.
Yeah, I had done some research on it, so I'm just trying to align. Yeah, so let me just read it out what Ekatva these notes are saying.
Sure.
So it explains it as solitude. It says we are alone in our spiritual journey. No one else can take our karma, and I must take responsibility for my own liberation. That's how they explain it. So does it align with what we learned?
No. What we are learning is a higher level than what you just read. Okay, so what happens is, okay, so different people will explain things, but it's not wrong, but it's incomplete, is what I would say. So what you just read is only talking about it on the surface, that learn to be in solitude, there's a difference between loneliness and solitude, right? Loneliness is something where you don't want to be alone and you're forced to be alone. Solitude is something you enjoy your own self and being with yourself, which is fine, which is, yes, it is ekatva, but it doesn't complete the thought that ekatva actually means to be with yourself in the soul sense, not just in the right now practical sense that I can be in the room alone and be happy. So you see, there's a difference, Dineshji.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a little more advanced, more complete, I would say. So, and that's what happens. See, in truth is one, explained by so many paramparas, even including different religions, let's say Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, I mean, different people will explain. But if you research, if you actually go and read Hindu texts or Buddhist text or even Christian or whatever, you would realize that a lot of this matches. But then there's more to it, which means that Jainism has the more complete truth than the other philosophies.
So, Auntie, when I see this vikalpamaya, and liberation is only attained by eradication of these vikalp, right? So many thoughts and psychic activities are going. So it reminds me of the definition of yoga in the Yoga Sutras. Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha, right? Tada drashtu swarupe vashthanam. So only by cessation of the fluctuations of the mind can the seer know himself, right? That's what that's saying to me.
Yes, because when you end all those yoga, that's what it tries to do, tries to put you into meditation, which means that you avoid. So, okay, today what happens? Let's say you close your eyes and you try to sit in meditation. What's going to happen? Constant thoughts, even thoughts of what you did this morning. Where is your child? Where is what to cook? All the thoughts that you would otherwise not get, you get when you sit in meditation. Because your mind is free to think. It's not busy with doing something. So yoga basically is a practice of learning to focus. So basically, yes, that is what it does. It tries to get you to practice to avoid all these thoughts, which is vikalp. Thoughts is also vikalp because there's a choice, this or that. And then try to, in yoga, actually, they focus on a picture or a ground, whatever. Anyway. But this Jain focus is way beyond that yoga that we talk about. I mean, I have a close friend, that Bhavna Rupal that you met. She's extremely a master and all that. And she tells me, yeah, Prabha, I do the same thing that you do. I teach yoga, and yoga is, yes, about being with your Atma and all that. And I'm like, Bhavna, when you study Jainism, that's you realize it's not the same thing. So, yes, it is and it is not. But see, you will always realize there is some truth to it, that yoga, the thing that you read, is not wrong, yet it's incomplete.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but this particular part,
I think, yes, you are correct over there.
Yeah.
It doesn't give the same bhav as this paragraph yet, because yoga is only trying to get your focus from spread out things to one thing. But what one thing is what we are talking about? That what is the important thing to focus on? Okay, so let's move on. Safalta, you want to read the next one? Anyatva, please.
Sure. अपने अपने सब चकुम सर्व वस्तु
Tatva hona chahiye. Are you reading Hindi or English?
English one.
Okay, so it should be V there. Apne apne satva ko. Is it okay?
It's E here.
No, the mistakes can be there, because if they copied the wrong Hindi text, the translation would come out wrong. So, okay.
It is CA.
Huh?
It is CA. SATTCA.
Yeah, so Auntie is saying it should be Sattvakum, not Sat. Not Sat.
That's in there. It should be SATTV.
Yeah. That's a mistake.
That's a mistake. Then please make a note of it.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
सर्व वस्तु विलास Vilisaya,
Vilisaya, yes.
try. Isem Chitavai,
Essay. You should read it as essay.
Aise Chitavai, Jeev Tab,
Chittavai. Essay Chittavai. If multiple people have the English one open, like confirm that she's we are trying to figure out if she's
I
reading
can
it wrong
share it.
or the text
Yeah,
is
that's right. I say Chittavai. That's correct.
Chittavai. Okay, go ahead.
Chitavai, Jeev Tab,
ऐसे चितवे
Pratem, Paratay, Mamata,
Mamat.
Na Thai.
Okay, good. Okay, read the meaning.
Uh, every dravya is modifying, developing within its own existence. None is a doer or destroyer of another. When the jeev contemplates this, then there is no mamatva, possessiveness, attachment towards par, others.
Okay, so we're trying to see the mistake there. Every apne is fine. So see, the apne, the A doesn't have a line, right? So you would not read it apne, you would read it apne. Then sat kakum kar diya unhone, hai na? It should at least according, wait, maybe it's my eyes. Can you guys read in your book? Do you read a ver or do you read a half?
No, it's a C in the book. It's a C, but that's wrong. You're saying it should be Sattvakum.
According to my Hindi book, what do you guys see on your Hindi book? Because from a word to a half ka, there's this just little extra line which may be missing in my book. See in your Hindi books. What do you guys read? Do you read a ver or you read a half ka?
It's Sattvakum.
Dipali, you have a Hindi book open.
Yeah.
What does your book say? Is that a ver or a half ka?
Apne apne
Sattvakum.
Sattvakum.
It's a V in
Sattva-
there, right? So
sattva.
then there's a
Seva,
mistake
ver.
here.
Yes.
Sattva.
Yeah, so we'll make a note of it. Okay.
अपने सत्वकुम.
Tattvaku. Tattvaku means your own existence. Okay. So what this bhavna is explaining is ki your own existence is different from anybody else. And you cannot depend on anybody. Nobody can depend on you because you cannot possibly be doer of anybody else and vice versa. So when Jeev thinks that way, then he doesn't have the attachment anymore. It's easy to reduce the attachment with these kind of contemplations.
So basic
business. Think about it. In the old days, why were people were more close, right? Think about it. Your parents' generation, or even today, you go to smaller towns, people are a lot more less selfish, more amicable, more willing to do stuff for each other, in some sense more attached. Okay. In the old times, people depended on each other. As the society became more in today's life in America, you don't need really much to depend on your neighbor anymore. In the old times, you had to depend on your neighbors. So that goodwill, that faith is reducing because of less dependence. But yet, here it is saying, because there is no dependence, there's no need to be attached. So it's very subtle though, right? So on one side, we are saying, yes, you want to be good to your neighbors. You want to be doing the right thing of helping and all that. Yet you don't want to be attached. You don't want them to be a reason for your sorrow and vice versa. Because the more you think they're going to be, this kind of is very common thing that happens between husband and a wife. The wife thinks the husband is the reason for my bad mood today because he woke up and said something mean to me this morning. And, vice versa. The husband is coming home and wife is all upset because the kids bothered her too much today. Well, it wasn't the husband's fault, yet she thinks it is because he wasn't around to take care of them. So a lot of these things happen in our lives because we wrongly believe somebody else is the doer of what's happening to us. Right? And as that understanding starts getting changed in our own minds, practical life improves. Because all of a sudden, you reduce blaming others. Because you realize that things are happening because of nimit nimitik karan, and that person, you start giving the other person the liberty to bother you. So slowly, other people don't become reasons for your bad moods or sorrow or any of those things. So life starts becoming a little more happier, a little more peaceful.
It's interesting because ekatva and anayatva, in a way, they're opposites, right? One is oneness and separateness, but slightly different concepts. So they both are true. But when you think about it, it's like, oh, it's a nice juxtaposition between the two.
Yes. Because, so about it. So apple and an orange, you have to know both. You have to know this apple is not an orange, and you have to know this orange is an orange. So you have to know the self, yet you have to know what is not self, because if you don't, how would you distinguish? So that is Anya. Okay. So next, who is left? Viraj has not read yet.
Yeah, right.
Ashuchi.
Asuchi. Nirmal apni atma. Deha apavna.
Apavan. It should be a sound.
Yeah, that's right. Apavan.
Geha.
Geha. Now here that A you have to say, right? It's Geha.
Not ha though. Is there a line? Yeah.
No.
So you just have to fully pronounce. So okay, so if it was just H and no A, then it would become like ge, like you barely pronounce that her, versus the full her because there's an A there.
Right, but before like they her, okay, they her, ge her, right? Yeah. Nani bhavya nij.
Is it bhavya? Check again. Is there a line?
Yeah. A is a line, so Jani.
Yeah.
There's a line?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so again, that's a mistake.
No, it's Jani Bhavya.
No, Jani Bhavya. Yes, there should not be a line on that Bhavya A.
No, there's no line on the bhavya.
Okay, then it should be read as Bhavya, not Bhavya.
Okay. Jani bhavya nij bhav.
You see the difference? Bhavya versus Bhav?
Right, bhav, right? Bhav ko. Yasom saja.
Yason, because there should be a line there.
Yeah.
So
No, yaso.
Yaso.
Correct.
Sajo sane.
Let me check, is there a line or not on this Yaso word?
I'll share, so it's easy, right?
It is
checking.
It takes too much time to share and all that. I thought, since you guys all have the English, multiple people have it open.
It is Yaso.
Okay, where are we here?
Yaso.
So this, Viraj, look at this. By A, this A has A, the line, so you would pronounce that as Yaso, okay? Versus, so here same thing, Bhav, but here notice the A doesn't have the line. So this becomes Bhavya, this becomes Bhava, and then this is Yaso. So you see the A and the A. Okay?
And what does that dot under the M mean?
So, sound.
Sound versus ma sound.
Yeah.
Yasum.
It's called Anuswar. Yason.
Yason.
Yason, yes.
Tajo
Otherwise,
Saneha.
if the dot was not there, you would end up reading it as Yasom. Yas.
Right, correct.
Don't
Right.
want it as Yasom. They want you to read it as Yasom.
Yaso. Tajo Saneha.
No,
Tajo.
again,
Tajo.
Tajo. Tajo.
Tajo. Tajo Saneha.
Okay.
Okay. This me, Atma, is pure, but this body is highly impure. So, oh, Bhavya Jiv, recognize your true nature and abandon attachment to this impure body.
So see, in a couple of corrections of errors, you started now reading more fluently. So it's just a practice that,
Right.
you know, and what we eventually are getting to is that with our kids, we want them to be able to read these Hindi verses and diacritics because he's not completely lost, yet they can understand the material, you know, in their first language. So that's the goal of doing this. So now what it is saying is that everything other than Atma is impure. So there's different ways, different authors have written Ashuchi Bhavna. Some go to the extent of describing how dirty your body is from all the holes in your body. There's always filth coming out and like making you really feel pretty gross about the body. And, so just to emphasize the fact that the Pudgal is so impure and the soul is the only pure thing to focus on. And so basically that's the thought here, that think of it, that you want to be focusing on the pure, unchanging stuff rather than this impure, constantly changing Pudgal. And so, and the reason some of the authors have done it so emphatically is because, I mean, today's world, where is it going? Look at it. Completely skin related. Beauty, beauty, and beauty. There's zillion products, beauty products that are selling. Oh my God, you come to India and every brand of beauty products is selling nowadays. And why is that? Where is the focus? On the Pudgal. So and once you learn this knowledge, and all of a sudden, when I go to these stores and I'm like, oh my God, look at this world, the way it is going, where is the focus of people, and what is this world taking you towards? See, in the olden days, that was not the case. Our parents or grandparents were not raised with as much emphasis on the body, right? Now, what the world is training you to be constantly focusing on the body, on the beauty, on the skin products, and more like taking you deep into the wrong direction. And the deeper you go, the more difficult it is to come out of it.
Prabhanti, when they're talking about a shuchi, are they talking, when they say the body is highly impure, is it because of the karmas that we are impure, or is it the normal filth of the body? Like,
Both, because karma is not attached to the body, it's attached to the atma.
Right. So are they talking about normal bodily filth, like blood and sweat and all these things, right?
Exactly. Yes. The thought is really only for pure and impure, but they just kind of make it more visual by talking about the bodily.
And I think they say that like the Tirthankaras and that they don't once you like after Keval Gnan, they don't have any impure bodily secretions, right? Like I believe.
That is true.
Like they don't sweat and they don't urinate or defecate or anything, right?
Yes. So shuchi means cleanliness, and ashuchi, opposite of cleanliness. So the cleanliness is now actually purity, explained in the shuchi way. Okay. So now let's move on to the first 6 bhavnas are supposed to be vairagyamay. Vairagyamay means bringing you closer to your soul. So those 6 contemplations make you feel like low importance on the material, the the body, all those things. So once you start coming towards inwards, then you start more focusing on the tattva. So the next 6 bhavnas are called more tattva para. Okay. So since we still have a few minutes, 5 minutes, let's do one more thing. Okay. So samvar bhavna. So let's go back to Dipali.
Oh,
Prabhati Ashraf.
Ashraf, the
Sorry.
one left.
Yes.
Ashraf, Asraf. आत्म केवल ज्ञानमय, निश्चय दृष्टि निहार, सब विभाव परिणाममय, आश्रव भाव विडार.
Good.
आश्रव, निश्चय दृष्टि से देखा जाए तो आत्मा केवल ज्ञानमय है. विभाव भाव रूप परिणाम तो आश्रव भाव है, जो कि नाश करने योग्य है.
So
And sorry,
Atma-
Auntie, just a technical thing. Is it can be Ashrav or Asrav? Either one is correct?
that's correct. Yes.
Okay.
So तो क्या बता रहे हैं कि निश्चय दृष्टि से तो केवल आत्मा is only the knower, right? In its pure state. Okay, but currently all of our atmas are not in its pure state. State only, remember the word state. Nishchay state is always pure, but the current state of it is not pure. Okay. So विभाव रूप परिणाम तो आश्रव भाव है. Any thoughts that we have other than the pure state bhav are all vibhav. So natural thoughts and not natural. So any thoughts that we have that are other than just knowing are all vibhav. Vibhav means opposite of natural bhav. And those are all ashrav bhav means that help the karmas to come close to you, come with the same space. And that is worth destroying. It's not something worth accepting. So basically, Ashrav Bhavna teaches you that any thoughts that you will have, whether Shubh or Ashubh, both are going to accumulate karma. Okay? Then Samvar Bhavna. Go ahead, Dinesh.
संवर निज स्वरूप में लीनता, निश्चय संवर जानी, समिति गुप्ति संयम धर्म, धराइम पाप की हानि. धरे. I'm looking at the English, so.
Hey, but that's no excuse. We all have to get used to reading.
Yeah. No, but these diacritics are different than the ones that I've learned in the past a little bit. So, samvara, stoppage of influx of karmas and restraint. From the viewpoint of Nishchay, immersing into the pure experience of Atma is samvar. It is reflected, described through vows of samiti, vigilance, gupti, restraint, and sanyam, austerity, which when practiced leads to destruction of sins.
Okay. So now what this is saying is ki dekho nishchay se, again when they say nishchay se, we are to take it as a real viewpoint, right? In reality, Atma Swarup mein leen ho jana hi samvar hai, right? So only in the meditation state is when actually the karmas stop coming in. Okay. But then in Vyavhar, so okay. So when you become sadhu, right, you have to be Samyak Drishti first of all. And then in your sadhu state, you also have Samit, Gupti, Sanyam. These we will read about more of these details when we talk about Sadhcharya. But there are 5 Samitis, 3 Guptis, Man, Vachan, and Kaya. And I won't go into the other details of Samiti and all that. We'll do that when we come to that chapter. And Sanyam. Sanyam means restraint. रूप किसे किया जाता है और जिसके धारण से पापों का नाश होता है. So samvar is stoppage, but stoppage and nirjara sort of go hand in hand. Ashrav and band sort of happen at the same time. So the samvar bhav tells you that Atma Swarup mein rehna is the reason for being able to stop the karmas to come towards you and then start shedding the ones that are previously attached to you. So, okay, let's do one more Nirjara and then we'll keep the rest for the next class. Okay, go ahead, Nirjara.
निर्जरा सर्वमय है आत्मा, पूर्व कर्म झड़ जाए, निज
सर्व नहीं,
स्वरूप को
संवरमय है आत्मा।
सॉरी
संवरमय है आत्मा।
संवरमय है आत्मा, पूर्व कर्म झड़ जाए, निज स्वरूप को पाए कर लोक शिखर जब थाए. निर्जरा, shedding of karmas. Jnana Swabhavi Atma, the knower soul, is the embodiment of samvar, dharma or true nature itself. Through its refuge, elimination of previously acquired karmas take place and Atma attains its own pure nature.
Yes. So I sort of already explained that when we talked about samvar. So basically, first knowing your soul, then believing in your soul, and then staying in the soul is the way you can shed your karmas. First, you know, when you believe, you stop the influx of karmas, and then you keep staying in it. And when you're constantly dwelling in your Atma is when the previous karmas also shed. So in that sense, think about it. It's a very simple system. But yet, why does it take so long? Why does it take so much understanding, studying of scriptures? Because we have had this more attachment for infinite past. Okay? And the times are tough. So there were times in the previous Kals, people were so simple. They didn't use a lot of logic and argument and all that. So you just tell them, hey, it's this simple. You understand the Atma, you believe in it, and you dwell in it. And people did that and got Samyak Darshan. They were so simple. Unfortunately, today we are not so simple. They call it, we have Vakra and Jada Buddhi. We always argue. We want to prove the other person wrong. And that's why it takes us longer. So, okay, so since it's time, let us stop here and we'll do the rest 3 bhavnas next class. And what is the homework? Who is going to tell me?
You have to look up who are the Tirthankars that were born in Ayodhya.
I have a trained student here. Look at this. The current class is not telling me what is homework. Viraj, it needs to come from
I
you.
can't get a word out. You know what it is. You know my life. I tried. Prabhaji. I tried.
Liar.
Okay, yeah, we will look it up.
And what was the second homework?
It is the stories related to Bharabhavna.
So bring all the stories you can find. And if you want to, in the group, you can pick which two you will research and come back with. So that way the work is divided. So not everybody has to look up all 12. Fair enough?
Yeah.
All right. And I want you guys to be good students. My other, the semester 1 class, the Hindi, more Hindi one, the ones that they're mostly from India, I think. They're a lot more sincere. My God, they do their homework every single time. So there's a competition going on now, okay? So you guys need to, yeah. And that class, it's so funny. I should read you this this little interesting message I got from this one student. So, there was people still asking to join that class till now. And eventually I was like, when am I going to I mean, these students keep coming and I've already finished like 4 books. So how are they going to catch up so much? So, eventually they they announced that now no more new students coming in. So I get this message from one student. So look at this. Jai Jinendra, respected ma'am, I'm Nidhi Jain from Delhi. I want to join the Parmagam Honors course being conducted by you and presently in Vitrag Vigyan 1 stage. I have followed all the lessons up to date, imparted to your US based group and also to the India based group. I am very keen for admission to the Parmagam Honors course this year, and I assure you I will catch up quickly. Kindly allow me admission in either of the groups. Please, I'm equally comfortable in Hindi and English, and I will work hard and not give you any opportunity to complain. And those are the kind of students I want. So, this poor girl is looking to get admitted, and we are not allowing her.
Bring her to the English class.
Yeah, so she can join our class.
Come here,
Yeah,
so you guys can all get motivated. Let's do
that's
that.
right.
Maybe I can put her in your class. So,
Prabhaji, I had a question, right? But when we talk about Samvar, right, we always say that it is when you're in your Atma, right? But then when we talk about Gupti and Gupti Samiti and what is the other one? Sanyam, those are practices leading to that, though.
exactly. That's correct.
But that is not when Samvar happens.
That's true. Somewhere
Correct?
actually happens when you're dwelling into the soul. Yes.
Correct.
But those help because
Correct.
Man, Vachan, Kaya, everything is not in Pravritti anymore. That's good. Okay. सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है वंदना शत बार है जय जिनेन्द्र
Jai Jinan.
Jai Jinendra Sabita.